You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off our first ever road tour, visiting some of the top shops across the country. Come along as we give you a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the most successful lawn care, landscaping, and hardscaping operations and facilities and see how their businesses operate. This shop tour is brought to you by our great friends at Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook. We know professionals like you trust and rely on the tools and equipment to make your business a success. And our tour partners mean business. Gear up, lock up, lace up, and line up your business for success with our 2022 Shop Tour sponsors. We'll be releasing new podcasts and YouTube videos every Monday for 8 weeks as we take you across the country on this incredible tour. Check out the full video tours on YouTube at Brian's Lawn Maintenance and catch the podcast every Monday. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, guys, we're going to jump right on into it here. We're going to hear from none other than Jeremy Knecht of JJ Grounds. A lot of you guys know and love and follow Jeremy on Instagram and social media. And I'll tell you what, if you guys haven't been, you're missing out. First off, want to just say a big thank you to Jeremy for opening up his shop, his business, his company, and even his house. I was actually able to spend the night at his place, beautiful home, the one that you guys see on Instagram, and just a huge dream builder of a shop and a home. Also, his wife, Kelsey, was just great at hosting. They made a bed for me down in their guest room. And you know what? They were just some of the first class people that you've ever met. It was really, really cool getting to see their whole shop and outfit. They have a shop that they rent, and Jeremy will go into the numbers and the size of it and everything. But seeing 4 or 5 different trucks in there and anywhere from 5 to 10 employees coming through and running $1 million business, they have it going on. And so it was really, really cool getting to see their whole outfit, their whole operation. Later tonight, maybe when you guys get home, check out YouTube and the correlating shop tour that we did with Jeremy Knecht. That'll be on the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel. And if you guys have been following along, we have 8 shop tours that we're doing with 8 different guests. And every Monday, you'll have the correlating shop tour podcast, and then on YouTube, the shop tour video, right? If that makes sense. So without further ado, let's hear the interview from Jeremy Knecht with JJ Grounds. And one last quick mention, thank you to the show, the tour sponsors, Cujo, Equipment Defender, Steel, and Yardbook for making this happen. All right, guys, without further ado, let's kick it over to Jeremy Knecht as we take it away. All right, guys, so we're sitting across here from Jeremy Knecht with JJ Grounds. How are we doing, Jeremy?
Brian, how are you doing?
I'm having a great time. Are you kidding me? Like, this has been a wild 24 hours hanging out with you, or 12 hours even. I got in late last night. You guys opened up your home for us. Let me spend the night here. Had a beautiful room down in the basement. Just got done doing a shop tour, which was really, really cool. And that's what we're actually doing here. We're doing a shop tour. I'm still trying to figure out a better name for it. But a shop tour. So we're doing 8 shop tours. We're dropping 1 a week on YouTube over the next 8 weeks. And so you guys were gracious enough to open up your shop. We just got done doing a couple of videos over there. I'm impressed. Like, everything has been so cool. This is like, you have a dream setup over here. So
yeah, it's worked out really good. We're blessed and thankful. And I've got 5 kids, and I want them to be a part of the business.
Yeah.
And so we found ways to do that, and having a shop closer to our home has helped us to do that.
Amen to that. Well, give these guys maybe like I call it the highlight reel, like a minute or two, just kind of an update about who you are, where you're from, what your business looks like. A lot of people, new listeners to the show, and then it's probably been maybe 6 months to a year since we had you on last. But it's always nice getting you on once a year and seeing what's going on. So give these guys maybe the update. What's going on?
So my name is Jeremy Knecht, and I own J. Jacobs. We're a landscape maintenance company here in Central Illinois. Basically, my goal is to have a business that is kind of the baseline financial stream that comes in, but long term, we'd like to see multiple
sources of income.
Sources of income, yeah. So we've been able to kind of tap into a few different areas and become more financially independent.
Yeah. Where are we at right now? Coggerville?
Yeah, Congerville. So it's between Peoria and Bloomington.
Okay.
So we're in a rural area right now. But if you go 20 miles down the interstate east or 20 miles west, you'll get into the cities.
Yeah, Peoria is right down the road.
Yep.
Beautiful city over there. Shout out to Peoria. This is wild. I'm actually like at your house. It's kind of surreal because I've seen 100 videos and photos of you time lapse in the front yard.
Yep.
Maybe some of you guys listening in follow Jeremy on Instagram. If you don't, I really encourage you to. He's got some great photos, great branding, just great people working for you as well. So you said that you guys mostly focus on fertilizing, lawn maintenance, some design build.
Yep, that varies year to year. Kind of depends on what I have for a staff as far as the experience level there.
Sure.
But I do have some experience in landscape design and quite a bit of experience in landscape construction.
Wow, that's awesome. And then you have 5 kids?
Yep, 5 kids. They're keeping us busy. It's for you guys that are younger and don't realize, but kids take a lot of investing of your time. So
time and money.
And but we enjoy it. It's not like we just had 5 kids on accident. We wanted to have a decent sized family.
Sure.
And we enjoy them all. And you only have them for a certain amount of time, and then they're grown up and out of the house. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just really like Liz. Like I've been texting Liz all morning. I'm like, you should see their house. And before I left, your wife Kelsey, I said, hey, do you mind if I like just take a pan of a video of the interior? And she's like, no, it's not weird at all. I'm like, thank you. So I sent it to Liz, and Liz goes, oh my god, that's freaking awesome. And we actually messaged you guys quite a bit over the last 2 years because I've asked you like, hey, would you do anything different with your house? Because you guys built this custom. How many years ago?
So we moved in 2016. So
Okay.
It's been, whatever
4 or
that
5
is.
years?
Yep.
Wow. And beautiful home on how many acres?
So we have 3 acres here.
Yeah.
We kind of have 2 lots here. One lot's kind of empty. We got some trees planted on it. We don't really intend to sell it. We'll just keep it.
Okay.
So our house sits on about 1.5 acres, and we've done the landscaping. Everything's pretty much complete on this 1.5 acre lot that we're on right now where the house is.
Beautiful home. What was Kelsey calling it? Like it's kind of like a contemporary or a craftsman.
Yeah, so there's some houses up on Lake Michigan. I think they call them shingle style houses.
Yep.
So when we went to go with our designer, that's kind of what we told him, we wanted a shingle style house. So that's the direction. But there is definitely some craftsman, some farmhouse
elements.
So yeah.
I love it. It's 2,600 square feet.
Yep.
Beautiful home. Any which way. Like we're not here to talk about the home all day, but we could because literally, I'm like just painting videos all the time, and I'm like, what about this? Or how do you like your range and your grill? Because as Liz and I go to build our custom home, I've messaged you a bunch of times saying, would you do anything different? Or hey, take a look at my floor plan. Would you guys? And you know, you're like, look, dude, I'm not your home builder, you know, but you're like, but there was some things that we took away from you guys. You're like, hey, I would do this different, and we were just actually hanging out last night for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm like, hey, you guys should probably kick me out. We all need to go to bed, you know, because it was getting late.
Yeah. But it's everybody's got. Well, it seems like everybody's got a house. Everybody's got a place to go to at the end of the day.
Yep.
And so for us, I don't know that we had this big vision when we were younger before we built here. Mm-hmm. But as we got the land and then we started in the building process, we just kind of like, you know what, let's make this a house we can raise a family in, a home. And then as our kids started to get a little bit older, like 10, 11, you're like, you know what? When they go to be with their friends, we'd rather have their friends be here with us.
Yes.
So then that's why it was like, okay, let's make something in the backyard so that they can. So that's why we put the pool in, and that's things in the basement we've done to kind of make it a go-to place where, hopefully our children's friends want to come here and spend time. And then we can nurture those relationships here rather than not really know what's going on.
Amen. I've had a bunch of people reach out to me. I'm a new father, 7-month-old baby, baby Emmy. A lot of you guys know Emmy, and follow Liz on Instagram. And but many people have said, make sure you have the cool house, right? Because you want all the friends to come over to you so you can kind of keep tabs versus letting your kid go all over the place, which is kind of like what you guys have here. You guys have a beautiful home, beautiful back patio and pool area. So you guys need to give them a follow on Instagram. Again, some of the best work I've seen on taking photos and great branding on Instagram as well. But the reason we're here, and by the way, I appreciate all those suggestions and those tips too. Like you said, like everybody's designing their own thing or building their own thing or is always looking like, hey, what's the next guy doing to get some ideas and some inspiration. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of the idea with the shop tour was, hey, let's go look at other people's shops. What do you like with your shop? What do you if you were going to do it different, what would you change? And so we just got done over there. Maybe give these guys a couple minute highlight about what we just talked about. Your shop is what, like a quarter mile down the road, half mile down the road?
It's about like a block down the road, and basically we are renting that. And for the near future, I don't really see us moving anywhere else. We pay about $1,000 a month for a 40 by 70 unit there. It's not heated And I do have a small space in there for my office, which is heated with just some space heaters. So it's not like a Cadillac shop at all, but it gets the job done. We're able to efficiently put our equipment in there. It's safe, it's secure, it's halfway dry.
Yep.
And
halfway dry. Yeah, I like how you do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's dry in there because that would be lying.
Couple leaky spots, you said.
Right.
But
get the buckets out.
It's it's funny because when you're like, yeah, it's not great, it's not bad, and I'm like, dude, I would kill for this place, and you're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look around and some guys are building brand new things. Even in our area, there's a lot of pole barns going up, brand new concrete floors with a heated floor. And you can get discontent if you want to, but then there's always the guy that's working out of his garage, and his garage is just jam packed full of tools, and he's parking outside in the grass because there's no room. And so it just depends what you compare yourself to. And my employees, I guess that's one of the big things. I kind of keep asking them how they feel about the shop, because I want them to enjoy coming to work and not feel like they're working in a dungeon or something like that. So I kind of try to keep engaged with them, saying, hey, is our office, does it need to be updated? And they've always been very open with me of how they feel about it, things that we can do differently to make it better, because ultimately, I could probably work out of about anything, but you want your employees to enjoy work.
Absolutely. Well, and you know what? It's cool too. It's kind of like home base, obviously, right, for the whole company. So everybody comes there. They're able to load up all the equipment. I actually saw a couple of the girls there. What was their names again?
Elsa and Sarah.
Yeah, they were super nice, super friendly. We were all laughing and cutting up before. They took 2 of the Isuzus out with the fertilizer setups, and they were actually going out to do FERT today, which is pretty cool. So it's a cool setup, and it's great to have a place for all of your employees to come to. It's kind of like the dream, right? Is have a home base. So tell me a little bit more about J. Jacobs, the business. So you guys, how many seasons have you been in business, and what's things looking like today in 2022? What are you guys excited about going into the spring rush?
Yep. So we're basically in our 13th year. We've kind of almost plateaued as far as our I would say our top line, our gross. We might go up a little bit, might go down a little bit, but I do think in the next 3 years that bottom number is going to get better.
Okay.
We're still right around that 18 to 20% profit margin, which is pretty good, I would say. But looking forward, I don't see anything huge on the radar as far as any big new ideas that we're going to be doing or implementing. I've thrown around doing pool maintenance. I've thrown around doing pool installs.
Okay.
And I actually might get more into the consulting side of landscape, just helping out guys that I get a lot of questions on Instagram and DM and stuff, and a lot of times I either don't have the time to correctly answer their questions, or we're not set up to do coaching calls at this time. But that would maybe be something that we would potentially do, is have some sort of an avenue for people that want to reach out and get some advice. Because I feel like we have a wealth of knowledge that we could share, both like on the financial end of things, and then also just on the logistics. And is fertilizing lawn care something that I should get into, and what does that all entail? Stuff like that.
I love it. You were saying this year might be a little bit different kind of a year, where you might scale back some of the revenue and some of the production that you guys do, just labor, different people on the team. So it is a really interesting thing. Like, the business is healthy, things are growing, but some of your key people moved on, and so now you're in this pickle. You're like, we have the work is always there. So what are you thinking going into 2022? Are you scaling back on, was it the landscaping, the construction?
Yeah, landscape construction. So I had 2 guys in the fall of 2021 basically start their own business doing about the identical thing that we do here at J. Jacobs.
Okay.
And I'm totally fine with that. There's plenty of work out there, but it is, it's going to be a change, because we're going to lose some experience there. They were the ones that would go out and do a lot of my brick edge jobs. They were the ones that could, do stone work and stuff like that. So we've had to hire some new guys, which they're not going to have that experience, but they're very teachable. And I think we can get back to that point, but it's going to take 3 or 4 years to get there.
Right.
So we're scaling back, which is fine. We'll just concentrate more on the landscape maintenance end of it. We've landed some really nice accounts here in the recent days. So I'm pretty optimistic about the landscape maintenance, just the mowing, the fertilizing, spraying, the bed maintenance. It is something, though, that you might get more burnt out on. That's the disadvantage, is it's more of a routine repetition type of work, rather than the cool
one-off jobs
that you're in there and you're doing something new and different every day. So I think it will be maybe more fatiguing mentally just the grind.
Sure. Yeah, and then once you get to the dog days of summer, July, August, people are like, oh, I got to cut the same dealership again, the same 3-acre lot again. It's like, and then like they finish almost within the same 2 minutes. It's like a 34 minutes, and like they finish within a minute every time, every week.
Right.
And they're like, oh, and some people like that. Some people don't like that. So you really got to work with your people to see like, hey, do you want to be on something that's more fun and creative, or something that's more routine? For me personally, I like routines. Yep. my wife Liz, she would die. She would be like, no, that's not happening.
Yep.
She needs the creativity.
We want to thank one of our presenting sponsors of the Shop Tour series. You know them, you love them, Yard Book. Whether you're just getting into business for yourself or you've been growing your company and need to get more organized, Yard Book is for you. A full-service CRM software to help you manage and track jobs, tasks, routes, and your billing all in one convenient web-based platform. And the best part? It's totally free. Take advantage of the CRM Brian uses to grow his business and take your company to new heights. Utilize their popular features like credit card on file charging, email estimate approval, and the new selling suite, fertilizer tracking, and so much more. Tens of thousands of entrepreneurs just like you trust and rely on Yardbook to help them grow their company. So why not you? Sign up today at yardbook.com and don't forget to mention that Brian sent you.
Hey guys, Brian here. I get asked all the time, what's the best work shoe or boots for our industry? As some of you probably know, I absolutely love wearing the Cujo Yardwear. A few years ago, I was wondering why there isn't some sort of light, functional shoe for the lawn care industry. Literally a couple weeks later, I get a message from this new company, Cujo Yardwear, letting me know about the new shoe they created for lawn care. I couldn't believe it, so I tested them out for the first year and have been wearing them ever since. Me and my guys love the Cujos because they are light, comfortable, they keep our feet dry and have great grip, and they're breathable. Plus, they're a family-owned company. Sean and Kelsey are a brother-sister team that seriously care about offering the best products for our industry. They started with the yard shoes, came out with the X1 composite toe boots, and are launching a new slip-on shoe this year. Check them out at Cujo.com. That's Kujo.com. And don't forget to use Brian's 10 to save 10%. Let me ask you this. I want to maybe shift gears a little bit talking about social media and specifically like your Instagram. You have a great account, really active on it, great photos, great branding. So a lot of people, they'll say like, they'll ask me or shoot me a DM, hey, how do I grow my Instagram? How do I, and not necessarily like to get more followers or to get like brand deals and sponsorships and all that nonsense. That's a whole nother story. I'm talking more like, how do you get customers? How do you position the business to look like a quality, good company versus just taking like some crappy photo and throwing it out there, and then people are like, my photos don't really look that good. When did you start taking Instagram, I guess, maybe more serious, or how did you start branding it and making it look as professional as it does? I don't know if my question's making sense, but you have a great account. I mean, literally. Yep. It's funny. I just got to say this really quick. Some people are like, who are you doing the tour with? And I'm like, this person. And I'm like, I'm doing Jeremy Knecht. And they're like, who's that? I'm like, Jake Jacobs. They go, oh my God, I love that guy. Amazing photos. So like, you're like known out there literally from so many other people with your Instagram grid with how quality your photos look.
Yeah. So basically it probably goes back, honestly, my wife enjoys photography. She actually used to have an online clothing store, so she would take a lot of the product pictures and upload those to her website. Really? And she had an Instagram page too, which was very successful.
Wow. Okay.
And so I kind of, she helped me. She didn't take any of my pictures, but the mentality that she left for me there of keeping a clean profile page, especially at the early stages of a company. Like, so say, you're out there on Instagram and somebody comments on your post and they say something and you're like, I'm going to go check them out. So you click on their profile and that pulls up their profile page. That's where you land. And right away you can kind of like visually make a decision. Oh, this guy's good or this guy's not good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have that many, followers or whatever, if you've got like attractive content and it looks like that it's organic content that they're actually creating, they're not just, reposting something that somebody else did.
Sure.
It's gonna hopefully make them want to follow you, and then you can. But I would say we have a kind of a core of about it's really. I mean, so we have almost 40,000 followers, but really, I probably only have a core of, I would say, 1,500 to 2,000 people that are actually engaged.
Sure.
So like always watching my stories, and they come back week after week after week.
Yep.
The rest of them out there, they just kind of float around. Sometimes you'll hear from them, sometimes you won't. But, those numbers that they put out there, they're not, that's not 40,000 active followers at all.
Right.
So if you can continue to bring good content to that 1,500, 2,000, I would say the stories are actually pretty important to stay consistent on. And it's hard in the wintertime to do that for me because literally there's nothing that exciting going on around here. So you kind of got to dig around and like try to find content. But during the summer, it's pretty, it works out pretty good because I can usually do a morning where I'm showing the guys loading up the trucks, and it actually, you're posting stories, and it makes a story throughout the day because then I go up on the job site and I can show updates to the job, and everybody's doing that. But I do think that people actually follow through the whole day to see the whole project come full circle.
What's your attitude or mindset out there? Are you doing it to get prospective clients and customers, or have you got prospective customers and clients in the area? Or
yeah, the attitude would not be to do that at all. Actually, it has happened. We've picked up a couple big commercials because of Instagram. They were following us on stories, but every day when I'm thinking of it, I'm more just marketing to the landscape guy that's following me, the lawn care guy that just likes to see how we do things.
Sure.
So that's the perspective that I'm coming at. I want to show them, how we load up in the mornings, stuff like that, and then the uniqueness of maybe a project that we're doing and how we do it. That's kind of my mentality.
If you had to describe like the aesthetic that you have on your grid and your profile, how would you sum up Jay Jacobs?
Yep. I would say green grass and crisp stripes.
Yeah.
That's basically kind of in Instagram. I found it's better for me to be more niche, and like I've tried, posting like snowplow pictures and maybe a landscape construction job we do, but whenever I start doing that, it seems like I get away, and there's not that. Everybody just wants to see the green grass and the nice stripes,
right?
And maybe try to mix a truck every 4 or 5 photos, an equipment picture in there. But really, that green, vibrant color popping is kind of the feel or whatever when you land on our page.
Do you spend some time thinking about the shot, like framing the shot? Do you edit it at all, like on Lightroom or anything, or what do you?
I just use the Instagram edits to do the edits of the actual picture. But cool. Yeah, I do put a lot of actually mental thought into what am I going to post next?
Yep.
And that's what in the wintertime it's hard because you're not. We don't have green grass around here in the wintertime. And so then I do resort to doing snow plowing pics, which I actually end up going back and archiving all those because it clutters up my profile page. So I'll either, if it's a reel, I'll remove it from the profile grid. So it's in reels, but it's not going to be on your profile.
Yep.
And then I archive a ton of posts that I make that are maybe something that we did that day that the picture's not that great, but I actually get a lot of engagement on. But in the long term, after like 3 weeks, it's just going to clutter up your profile. So I archive it, get it out of there. And clean that up. So I do that a lot.
That's good. No, it's really helpful because there's a lot of guys that message me all the time, like, how do I grow my Instagram? Whether they want to like be a YouTuber person or a social media person or whatever, or whatever, or they're just like, hey, I want to get new customers and show off my work.
Yep.
And I really, you can tell when somebody's intentional about their Instagram. And I know like some people are like, dude, it's Instagram. They don't care. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like, hey, I ate breakfast and here's my eggs and bacon. And there's other people that you can say that really spend a lot of time and energy and make it look nice and aesthetically nice, and the colors or the theme or the, like you said, the grid. They don't have it's not a post, then a reel, then a video, then a time lapse. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's all aesthetically.
Yep. And I would say there's a few things that I've kind of learned about almost the algorithm of Instagram. And so, when you open up the app, and you want to go to post, it's going to ask you if you want to enable the camera and microphone access.
Okay.
Or it'll ask you if Instagram can have access to your photos.
Sure.
And to post anything, you have to hit yes. So it's going to know. So now all of a sudden, Instagram's going to know the date when all the videos were posted. And I feel like you get way better traffic, or Instagram likes it when the date of the actual video or photo is close to when the date is close to when you're actually posting it. So you dig up something from like 4 years ago and post that. For some reason, it just does not.
Interesting.
And I actually also think that any content that you do in the actual like Instagram Reels, where you record it within the Reels and post it right there, that's also going to get better.
Interesting.
Algorithm or whatever. They're going to like that better rather than taking the video on your iPhone, moving it into Reels,
Yep.
it doesn't seem to do quite as well.
And also, by the way, I think you're right with that. And this may just be our social media therapy hour here. But at the same point, I think you're right, because when you take a video to TikTok, it doesn't perform the same way if you recorded it off of Instagram. And if you record a video from TikTok and put it on Instagram, it doesn't always work as well. And if I take the same content from YouTube and just upload it to Facebook, like an actual YouTube video, it doesn't perform the same. So like all these different platforms, like some of them like each other, some of them hate each other.
Yep.
Like Facebook and like Snapchat, for example.
Yep.
Like they're definitely not the same people. Facebook and YouTube, not friends.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And so, and we're on your unfiltered podcast here. So I'm just gonna shoot my get on my soapbox here. So we had a really good run between, I would say, the GIE Expo, which was in October, till about November. I had posted a few posts that just took off, and like we gained, I think we went from like 21,000 up to 38,000, 39,000 in like 4 weeks. Like we just did really well. And right in November was my anniversary, and I posted a picture with me and my wife and saying how felt God's blessings after 15 years of marriage, yada, yada, yada. We got a lot of likes. Like all my normal followers, they liked it. But the next morning I woke up and we had lost like 150 followers. And the next day, like 100 followers. And like, I'm like, what in the world? We did the same thing. I have a guy that works for me, that he's a cop full-time, and he works for me part-time. And I just said, he stopped by the job site. So we got a picture of me and the guy standing with the guy that works for me, and he's in full uniform. And I said, we really appreciate his work in the community, yada, yada, yada. Same thing.
Yep.
Next morning, they just tanked me. And honestly, Brian, so that was in November. We're now April. And I have had negative followers ever since.
Isn't that wild?
And there's no way to stop it. Like, I don't even know how and so it's really frustrated me.
Yep.
Because I feel like our content is the same. We've got the same audience. I do everything exactly the same, but something has changed.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because the algorithm and the platforms in general, they do cater to certain things, right? Or they also don't like certain things.
Yep.
So like on YouTube, if I say God, Jesus, Trump, America, any of those, my YouTube channel like literally gets shadow banned, and it does, and that's why. So
guys out there that are trying to grow it, just stay away from those controversial things.
Yeah,
and
if you say Jesus, Christian, like, and some of you are laughing, and you're like, oh, I don't believe that. That's just whatever. But it's literally true. Look at the culture. Look at the platforms. Like what they promote, and if you don't like that, that's okay too. It's interesting because I know. Because I run my numbers, and I'm pretty serious about my social media. There was a time when I was just bashing my governor about a year and a half ago with the lockdowns, and my Instagram account blew up in the beginning, and then all the other conservative people out there in the world were all like, "Hey, this is a little bit of pandemic," and that whole story, and that whole narrative went out, and you see so many people getting kicked off of social media, throttled, held back, and it's not like one time is like 1 or 2 times a conspiracy, 3, 4, 5 is a pattern, right? And so there was a point where I was just bashing my governor because she was just being a moron, in my opinion, and my account literally got shadow banned because I had people saying, "Dude, you don't show up on my feed. You don't show up on your stories, nothing, dude, none of your stuff." And I go to socialblade.com. If you guys ever want to check stats of people, go to socialblade.com. And my Instagram account had I think 100 net new followers in September and October and maybe November from election season. Because I was, and it wasn't because people were like, "Oh, I'm tired of this guy. He's making a bunch of political crap." I was getting more likes than ever, right? But followers, it wasn't promoting my content to new audiences. Literally the week after a 60-day shadow ban, I gained 1,400 followers in a week.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I told Liz, I'm like, there's no way. So if any of you guys want to grow social media, it is I don't say it is a business, but there is a science kind of.
Right.
It's intentional. It's effort.
And the other thing they don't like, and this has nothing to do with the content you post, but if you delete the app from your device, they do not like that. I found that out too. You can definitely.
Isn't it wild?
If you go to your Instagram profile, you hit the little hamburger up in the right-hand corner.
Uh-huh.
And you go to Insights, and then there's a followers percentage. You click on that, it'll show a graph of like last 30 days, last 60 days, last 90.
Yep.
And yeah, you can definitely see what exact day I deleted that app from my phone. It just went down into the negative.
They're like, we'll show you.
Yep.
They're like, last time you do that, Mr. Jeremy.
Yep.
It's wild. And some of you guys are like, dude, I didn't even know all this.
Right.
You know, you're just like, I just thought you make a post or make a photo. And that's why I always tell people, you're like, well, what's the best way to succeed on YouTube? Or what's the best way to succeed on Instagram or whatever? And I'm like, dude, just create content. Just start posting, because you're going to learn what works and what doesn't work. But if you're so busy waiting, like, you know, quote unquote, for all the lights to turn green,
right,
you're never going to figure it out.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know, and Liz deals the same thing. She's growing her social media account as a blogger and, you know, trying to be a lady like influencer on some different things. And she makes amazing photos, the best photos I know of anybody. Like and I'm not just saying that. Like, her Instagram is amazing, but she's been doing reels a lot lately, and it's weird because some reels will get. She's got like 10, 11,000 followers. Some of them will get like 150, 300 views. And then other ones get 3,000 views.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's the difference? And she's like talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know, bro.
Right.
I'm like, and it's weird. It's like anything, and this is just our therapy session here, but anything that's like pro-marriage or family oriented, it almost like it gets throttled. Because she did one, and then we do something like, new equipment, you know, for the lawn care, 50,000 likes.
Yeah.
We do like new, I don't know, Liz picks up something like some new swag or clothes or something like that, you know, hundreds of likes, 1,000 likes. And I'm just like, and I don't know, maybe it's just like a societal thing too, like what people want to follow.
Yep. So I kind of concluded I'm just going to have to rise above. They want you to stop posting that sort of thing. So I'm just going to keep posting it because that's who we are and that's what we are, and not really
I love that.
Look at the numbers as much. And really, let's get back to your attitude as far as even like a shop. Okay, so maybe you move to a new property and you've got a building there, but it's kind of dirty and junky, but you can clean that shop up. You can organize it and make it a nice functional. You don't have to have a brand new everything to be able to just work with what you're given with.
Amen.
I think that mentality, even if you've just having it clean and organized and like having systems put in place, you can make the best of any situation.
Absolutely. People are always like, well, I need a new truck to like get business. I'm like, no, you just need to have your old truck clean.
Right.
And that's fine. And then I had a little red F-150. We were doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in work. Nobody was judging me saying, well, you're pulling up in a 2002 red F-150.
Right.
Nobody cared. And I had a little utility trailer had rust. Like one of the fenders was like basically off.
Yep.
But everything we had was arguably clean. We were trying to keep it clean. So we always say clean image always is like one of our company values. I like the whole rabbit hole about the Instagram just now, but it is really interesting what you say, because I said the same thing about 2-3 years ago. I said, I'm done with the numbers. I don't care what the numbers are. I'm going to post content that I think is helpful, that I think is valuable, that I know I would enjoy watching or seeing or appreciating. And that's what we did. And all of a sudden our followers and all of our numbers went through the roof. But if I just always do what the app or the algorithm or the platform wants me to do, then I'm kind of like unauthentic or inauthentic, you know, and then your Instagram or your YouTube channel or whatever becomes something that you don't love anymore. And that's why people change or move or they implode. But honestly, if you guys aren't following Jeremy, what's the Instagram account really quick?
J Jacobs Grounds.
J Jacobs Grounds. Give him a follow and see like the aesthetics. See how he frames the shot. Look at the colors. Look at what's in the background. What's in the foreground. And there's people that you can follow on YouTube and Instagram, like Peter McKinnon, a couple other great people, Matty Hippoja, I think is how you say his last name. They're really good people at framing a shot and telling a story with a photo.
Yeah. And it takes some work. I mean, what really helps is go to pictures that you like of other, go to other accounts and like look at their pictures and say like, oh, what did they do here?
What do you like?
Yeah. And even like you have a picture taken and then just cropping it so that maybe the truck is in the corner of the picture instead of like centered, or just like little things like that. Play around with it. You have
some great shots where like the truck is in the bottom third, but then you get the skyline.
Right.
And and it's, dude, I'm telling you, you guys have like amazing photos. If you guys want to follow a couple really good people, not to talk about Instagram all day, but if you guys want to talk about great photos and great people that are also making great photos on Instagram, Jake the Lawn Kid. Amazing photos. And then Aiden Sabo, Aiden's Ace, great photos. And there's dozens of other great people as well. But those two, I've actually taken a lot of, at GIE Expo, like you were saying, or Equipped Expo now, right? Whatever. We should do a poll. Like, do you like the new name? Because it's like 70-30. But anyway.
I'd say 80-20.
Yeah. Ask Caleb Ballman, right? Shoot him a DM. Hey, what do you think about the name? But they don't listen to us, right? But I saw Jake, the lawn kid, at Expo. We were in line, and he like high fives and what. I'm like, what up, dude? Like, you excited about the show? He's like, yeah. I go, hey, I need you to give me some Instagram help, like coaching. Like, my Instagram is awful. Like, mine was just everywhere, and it is. The last about 2 weeks, I've really tried to clean it up and make it look a little bit more aesthetically
pleasing. Yeah, I've noticed that. It looks good.
I'm trying really hard, like really hard, because Liz is like, everybody gives me crap. They're like, dude, how have you gotten this many followers? And I'm like,
well, but there comes a point where it doesn't matter what you're like when you're Brian Fullerton, it doesn't matter if it looks like a garbage bin.
Okay. I post the randomest stuff, dude.
But no, I've noticed like the last, 12 profile pictures that you have up there, they like coordinate. They've got the good edits on them. You got the saturation and the structure, pulling that out to give that look.
If Jake, the lawn kid, and also Aiden Sabo, they give me a bunch of tips, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then Liz is like, every night, like, she'll make a post. I'm like, oh, your photos are amazing. And then I like look at my own Instagram. I'm like, why do people follow this page? But so I've been trying to clean it up and make it look a little bit nicer, because I want our branding and stuff to go to the next level as well. So guys, when you guys listen to the show, like, I'm doing the exact same stuff that like I'm suggesting you guys do. I'm learning and trying to get better every day too. Yep. Like, we were actually at breakfast this morning, and we're just like, just being honest. I'm like, Jeremy, what are your numbers at? What are you doing? How's this? What's your percentage? What are you making? What are you not making? And it's fun to just have like, just let's get to the end kind of conversation. Like, how's things going? You're like, well, how's your numbers doing? I'm like, dude, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're trying to do this, and I'm growing. We're learning. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, we're adding a truck, we're adding a crew, we should add 50 to 100 in revenue, and blah blah blah. So like, when you guys listen to the show, like, I never want to like come like top down or pretend like we have it all figured out. Right. Because I'm always like, Jeremy, how are you like, how's things going in life? What are you guys doing for investments? What are you guys doing for making money? And it's really cool, this community of people that we always have on the show, and folks just like you guys that are listening to the show. We have you guys on as guests all the time, and it's just great to see the way everybody helps each other out. Right.
Yeah, and it's been inspiring too to see others. You got like Andy Mulder out there, and you can see that he's operating on a cash only basis, and it inspires me. That's like, you know what? If he's going to do it, it's not crazy to be doing that. I'm going to keep doing it too. Yeah. And it's just. And then I understand too the guys that leverage different things. I mean, as long as it's not stupid debt, I can see where it makes sense. We had a loan when we started our company. I took out a $80,000 note to start our business. I was able to buy the business name and some trucks and some mowers. But yeah, I understand both sides of it. But I do think this community with podcasting, with Instagram, YouTube, you can compare notes with other people, be inspired, say, hey, you know what? Yeah. It's for a temporary time here where I got to get through this point, but look where he's at now and keep going. And you once in a while you'll find people that they hit a wall and they just can't go any further. Sure. But I think for most entrepreneurs, they have the mindset, they've got the grit within them that they hit the wall, and that's when they have that extra push to go past, and that's when you're going to shine. So I love it.
And by the way, I would say like you're probably like going to roll your eyes at this, but dude, you're like a pillar of people that like I point to. I'm serious. Like, and you're smiling, like playing it off, but I'm telling you all the time, like, literally, I've said this once or twice, or maybe even on the podcast just now, but I was doing the tour and people are like, who are you seeing and all this mess? I'm like, this guy, and like, yeah, cool. And then I'm like, Jeremy Knecht. Like, who? I'm like, Jay Jacobs. Like, oh my God, love that guy. Like, amazing. I swear to God. Like, dude, I've said that to a dozen people, and they're like, I love his photos. That guy takes amazing photos. He's a great guy. I'm like, I know. I'm like, dude, he's letting me stay at his house. I'm like, I was taking a shower last night. I'm like, don't touch anything. Yeah, don't mess anything. I'm like, don't mess anything up.
I've got 5 kids that just tear stuff up. So.
I made my bed. I don't even make my bed at home. I'm like, that's funny. I tuck the sheet back in. I'm like,
I'll have to go down and take a picture of it.
You wouldn't even know I stayed here. Like, I'm like, don't. Liz is like,
did you even sleep on the bed? Maybe you slept on the floor.
I slept on the floor.
How dare you?
I slept in the basement on the concrete. I'm like, Liz is like, don't touch anything. Don't mess anything up. Like, these people are nice.
See, we don't want to come across like that.
No.
Then nobody's gonna want to hang out with us.
But like, I seriously like respect and like appreciate and like people are like, well, you're hanging with Brian's Lawn Maintenance. I'm like, dude, I get to hang out with you. So it's like the other way around. So I'm like looking out your window, creeping. I'm like, look at the patio, the pool. I'm like, I literally like your whole backyard. I'm like, I've showed this. I have a folder saved on my Instagram of like outdoor patios and pool ideas, and all your photos from your backyard are in that folder. And I'm like telling Liz, I'm like, look at their backyard, look at the fireplace and all this mess. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, it was the backyard project is one of those. I like doing DIYs, and basically, it's something that you'll get overwhelmed with if you look at the whole picture when you're like looking at the beginning of a project.
Sure.
Because I mean, before we even started with the installing, I had to move all the septic tank or the septic stuff. We had just built this house and put a new septic system in, and then I had to move that just to accommodate the pool and stuff. So that was like step one, and then we had you get a concrete crew in here to build a concrete wall to level up the backyard. So it was just very step by step. And anybody that followed the whole process on Instagram probably thought, Jeremy, why don't you just like hire it out and get that job done? Because it took like 2 years to get the whole thing done.
A couple years.
And we had some setbacks. We put the pool in. It's a fiberglass shell pool. We installed it, got it all leveled up. It was right on the money, centered with the house, beautiful. The next day we got 7 inches of rain in like 3 hours, and it floated the whole pool up into the air, turned it sideways, and set it back down.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to go get the big hi-ho, bring it back in the excavator, dig out all the mud, get the water out of the pool, reset the pool. I mean, it was a huge setback.
Whoa.
And I was so frustrated because
it's a lot of effort.
Yeah, and that's like setting the pool is the most stressful part of the whole thing.
Sure.
Like, that's like the big day when you're like putting the pool in the ground. You don't want anything to fall out of the sky and hit somebody or whatever. So doing that twice wasn't the funnest thing. And we did a lot of custom concrete work that I had never done really before, but there's so much stuff that you can learn online. That's where I watched a lot of videos.
Yeah,
and
those big, like what are they, 4 foot by 4 foot concrete slabs?
Right. Yeah, there's some huge slabs here. You can't buy like stepping stones that big.
Nope.
So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make them. And so, we poured them. Some of them are like 4 foot by 6. And then there's a bunch of them that go around the house, like just a pathway. They're like 4 by 3.
Yeah. I feel like that Instagram, like hashtag like be a man. You're like, I just made them, like just make them. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Let's make it. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, how about you come over and just make them for me? But that's what I'm saying. That's the cool stuff I get to see on the tour. And I'm like, and I'm trying to capture all this and bring it to you guys. But yeah, it's really inspirational stuff. You've actually, the last quick story I'll say really quick is you had a Exmark come over more recently. I don't know if that's all like coming out just yet, but they highlighted you. You did this whole like series with them.
Yeah. So back in 2020, Exmark, they sent a crew out and they just kind of did a story on our relationship with Exmark, our company, and then our family. They actually took quite a bit of B-roll right here at the house and just integrated it into like a 3-minute video of how Exmark has been a part of our life and helps us make a living, basically. And I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but here in like the second week of April, there'll be another video which kind of shows the partnership of Exmark, Boss, and J. Jacobs, because we also use Boss snow removal equipment in the wintertime. So they wanted to kind of basically do like a small guy like myself that uses all their equipment and still you can make ends meet with that. And so we're happy with Exmark. We're happy with Boss. They just both have that grade 8 like feel to them when you're using that equipment. You can tell it's a quality piece of equipment.
I saw, and that's really, really cool because I saw the Exmark one, and I'm like, dude, I know that guy. Like, literally, bro, I was like, I'm a friend with that guy,
Yeah, right.
And then I'm excited about seeing the Boss one. I was actually on Exmark's, I don't know if it was a YouTube page or their or website, but they did one with Morton pole barn builders.
Okay.
And I'm like, it was a dual highlight. So I don't know if Exmark inked that or Morton pole barn builders did, but I'm shopping for a pole barn right now with Morton, and I got a quote back, and we're just waiting to get the house going and then save our pennies again and hopefully break ground in that, 12, 18 months later. My issue with building the barn is that I'm not on site. So once my house is done and I'm living there, then I want the pole barn up like the next day. Because I don't want to just have this random building, 30 minutes from my house, just sitting out there in the farmland, by itself. Yep. But I saw this really cool collab. It was like some dude, I don't think he was a business owner. I think he was a homeowner. But he was talking about how he mows his 10-acre farm with an Exmark mower, and then how he stores it in his barn. And I'm like, this is the coolest video ever. So
it's a really unique way of marketing that they're doing. I've seen, they'll kind of like spotlight or showcase, some guy that's got some rural property and he's got family, and they kind of make a storyline of the whole thing and tie it all together. But around here there's a lot of farmers that have 5 acres that they mow every week. And if you can kind of get the name out there, that's going to be a huge customer base for them, not just the commercial guys like us.
Yeah, that's so cool. And Exmark does a lot with like farm shows and trade shows.
Right.
So they're always at all those farm shows, and guys buying their own Exmark Laser Z or an Exmark Radius X and mowing, like you said, they're 2, 5, 10-acre property, horse farm, ranches, all that mess. That's wild. Well, congratulations to all that, and well deserved. I mean, telling you, like,
yeah, we enjoy it. I enjoy working with. I'm not great on camera, but I enjoy running equipment and getting video of it, and they give us some of the B-roll to use on our pages too. So.
Sure, it's like they start with like, "Hi, my name's Jeremy," and then like that's all they use.
Yep,
and it's all B-roll of like the family in the house.
Right. Yep. Enough of Jeremy standing there by.
like they give you your lines, your script, and it's just like, "Hi, my name's Jeremy with Jay Jacobs," and you're like, "Where's the rest of it?" That's all.
Oh man, it's horrible. I hate those interviews. You stand there and they're like three guys staring at you, and they ask you questions, and then you try to like act natural, but your mind's just like going a million miles an hour, and your mouth is not catching up with you. And,
For real.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's funny because people, I tell them all the time, I stick the camera in their face, and they're like, they don't even remember their name. Because you just get weird. And if you're not, it's for real, like I'm not like normal with the camera either. I'm like, it takes a lot of effort and skill.
I'll get like this scared, fearful look on my face, but I'll smile.
Yeah.
And so
you just start blinking.
Yeah.
Don't forget
so it's like, you know what? Yeah, just use this as background to the video of me out mowing. I'll mow any day of the week. Just don't put my face with the audio.
You're doing great. Well, it's funny because we're at the shop and you're like recording Instagram stories and you're like, "Hey guys, my name is Jeremy." You're like, "Why am I even saying this?" You know, I'm like, you're like, "It's my own account."
Right.
And you're like, I don't know, I just get weird like when people are around. And I'm like, we all do, you know. But you still just do it. And it's funny because I was filming and I'm like, "Jeremy, like relax. This is all B-roll. It's all gonna be muted anyway." You're like, "Oh, thank God." You're like, "I don't want to." You're like, "Hey guys, Brian's over here with some philosophy." You're like, "What am I saying?"
I forget what I said. Yeah.
Philosophical. He's over here with some philosophical stuff. I'm like, "You mean filming?" You're like, "Whatever." You know? We were just cutting up, but any which way. We'll button up right here, man. We really appreciate you. I sincerely I mean it. Like, you're a friend of the show. You're a friend of Liz and I's. Like, we appreciate all the DMs back and forth. I know I picked your brain in person at Expo. When we were at J Expo, I don't know if it was this last fall or the fall before, but we had a table, a little booth out 4th Street Live, and you were able to hang out with me. Was that this last one?
Yeah, that was this last one. Yep.
Yeah,
it was me, you, Jeremiah Jennings.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, it was so loud. It was with
I tell that story so many times. I'm like, because
we were screaming at each other.
I'm not like a country fan, and like country concerts make me a little like, it's like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on here.
Lot.
So I felt uncomfortable, but I wanted to spend the time with you guys.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting here, and like 20 feet to our right to our right, there's just like these speakers, just boom, boom.
Big concert.
Yeah, big. I forget who it was.
Granger Smith.
Yeah. Okay, the Yee guy.
Yeah. And you and I are like, what's happening?
And then the guy from GIE, Evan, bless his heart, he had like reserved this VIP area, and we were the only ones there.
That took him up on it.
The food was on him. And then, like, I cut out, like, basically right after I gobbled down my sandwich. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here, guys.
I left like 10 minutes after you. I'm like, I can't. It was so loud. It was wild. And then, who's growing greens? Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Jeremiah's like, this is the best concert ever, you know, because he's like, I'm just having fun.
It's right down his alley.
Yeah, it's right up his alley. Jeremiah, shout out to you if you listen to the show. Brian Lummy was talking junk about you, you know. But Jeremiah's like, you guys gonna get on these wings? We're like, relax, dude. I love Jeremiah. He's a great dude. Him and his wife Savannah.
No, that was a great time. That was fun to be down there with you guys. GIE is always a blast to get to see. I mean, that's why I go, is for the
networking, the people.
Yep.
Amen. Well, cool deal. Well, I appreciate taking time out of your morning to get with me. You have people coming over, the employees. You're dispatching them all out, and so anytime I come through, I always try to be like respectful and like not be a diva. And like, you're like, hey, do you need dinner or breakfast or this? I'm like, dude, throw me a granola bar. Like, we're good.
Oh, so quick story. Last night, so Brian, he was planning on getting in, or like, I don't know what he said, like 9:30 or so. So we were planning on him being here at 9:30, and he had texted, said, I'm going to grab something to eat on the way here. So I'm thinking, okay, he'll have eaten dinner or whatever. So 9:30 rolls around. Sure enough, Brian shows up, and he comes stumbling into the house through the garage. He actually scared me because I didn't even know what door he was coming to. But anyway, and the first thing he said is like, there's like no food around here. He's like, I drove for like 25 minutes and I didn't find one fast food restaurant or anything. I'm like, oh, dude, we don't have any food. Like me and my wife are kind of eating more healthy now, so we don't have like snacks. We don't have like meat and cheese. We don't have pizzas. We don't have nothing.
What was it?
And Brian shows up. He hasn't eaten anything since like 2:00 in the afternoon. And like, as a host, you want to have a spread for him. So I go into the refrigerator and I find like a little Rubbermaid tub with piece of chicken in it. Brian's like, no, I'll pass on that.
I was like, what is that? And and then not that I wasn't grateful, obviously, but I was like, Kelsey's like, your wife was like, don't give him that. You're like, what are you doing right now?
Brian, I mean, he's like feeding. He'll eat it if he's hungry. He'll eat it.
You're like
microwaving it.
She's like, what are you doing? She's like, Jeremy, stop. And you're like, no, he'll eat this. I'm like, Jeremy, I'm not gonna eat that, bro. It's like this half-eaten chicken breast.
Yeah, I was like in the third person at that point. I was like, oh man, what am I doing?
He's like, you're rummaging for like bagel bites or something, and I'm like, Jeremy, it's okay. I had a big lunch at 2:00. It's fine. I'm like, I got some Buddha popcorn, or Boom Chicka Pop or whatever.
Yeah, Liz, I don't even know what Boom Chicka Pop is.
It's really good popcorn. Okay. Or no, we had the I think it's the Buddha popcorn, the pink Himalayan salt. It's really good.
Yeah. So when we went to bed last night, Kelsey and I went in the bedroom. I'm like, he's probably down there eating this.
I was like a little raccoon, dude. I was a little raccoon with my popcorn. Liz, I got Jimmy John's a couple days ago, so I had the little bag of kettle chips. So I'm like rummaging on both of those. I'm like, I look like a little raccoon. Like if you would have opened up the little side barn door, I would have been like
protecting his food that he has.
I was just eating my little snacks, and but you know what? Liz knows me, and she knows I'm a snacker, and so she packed 2 bags of the Buddha popcorn or whatever it's called, and anybody who's got an in, shout out your boy so we can get some sponsors. Go to the Boom Chicka Pop or Buddha. But any which way, it's all good, dude. It's all good. So we did go to breakfast this morning, and you were like, I got like a 2-egg breakfast, and then you were like, can I also add 3 extra eggs? And the lady was like, what?
So breakfast is my big meal of the day. I try to hit at least like 1,000 to 1,200 calories for breakfast because I just don't eat that great during the day because
we're all working.
I just don't. And so when I eat it here at home, I'll fix 5 eggs, hash browns, and a few sausage links. So that's what I got this morning at the old busy corner. So.
Hashtag be a man. Just get a big breakfast.
Well, and honestly, I could have ate a couple more.
Really?
Yeah.
That was wild. Like the girl, even the server girl, she's like, okay.
Every time I do that, I get like a different server, and they're always like, did I hear you right? Did you just say 5 eggs?
Well, it's gonna be like miscellaneous charge 99 cents, miscellaneous charge.
Right.
I'm like, your ticket's gonna be a mile long now with all these little charges.
They need to have a meal called like the Jeremy Special or something, or like Be a Man.
Be a man special.
Be a man. It's got 5 eggs and the whole deal.
That'd be like the Grand Slam or something,
Right.
They have there's a restaurant back at home. They call it the Cheryl Special, and it's like that. It's a full platter, and I get that all the time. It's like 3 eggs, ham, bacon, sausage. I apologize if you guys are listening to this on a mower at 9 a.m. You're like, dude, I could go for some breakfast right now. You're probably like, hey, you guys want to go get some breakfast at the diner?
Yeah. Do you guys have Bob Evans?
We do. A lot of them closed down.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't.
So we always used to go to Bob Evans on rain days, like if it'd start raining on us, and it's like 10 in the morning or something. We just go to Bob Evans, and they used to have these crepes.
The buffet. Oh, okay.
They're like these flat pancakes, but they would roll like cream cheese and strawberries and stuff. Yeah. They don't have them anymore.
Sounds like a cannoli or something. Yeah, I don't know.
They did. It's CREPE, crepe.
Yeah, crepes. Yeah. I try to stay away from like the Bob Evans and like the big boys because like it's like recession proof food. It's like $4.99 for the Slim Jim or whatever, and I'm like, it's been $4.99 since 1999,
right?
And so
your gut starts hurting when you leave. They're a little
they're good. They're good. They had one, they leveled it back at home. They're putting in a high end jewelry store, so it is what it is. No spilt milk over there, but so you guys got a little bit of everything today. We talked about the shop. We talked about how to run.
Ultimately, that's the most important stuff. I mean, you got to eat. You got to go to your shop,
make good Instagram photos,
and
make sure your people are taken care of.
I mean, other than that.
And then have a beautiful home and a beautiful life, and then have Xmark come do a video on you. That's how you know you're doing good when Xmark's like, "Hey, can we film you?"
Yeah.
What about the mower? Yeah, no, your life.
Yours, yeah.
Like on our dream board, Liz and I have a photo of like you and Kelsey, with the house.
Sure.
People we look up to.
Oh, brother.
I'm not kidding. Like it's kind of funny, but beautiful home, beautiful life, beautiful setup, man. And seriously, like it's a lot of hard work. I know, and 5 kids, but you guys are just great people. And I'll just button up with that, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Brian.
Awesome, man. So follow Jeremy on Instagram, JJacobGrounds, and maybe shoot him a DM, or if you guys like this podcast, maybe tag it, reshare it on Instagram and or whatever else you guys are using. We super appreciate it. But that's what I got today. We're going to kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, hear a little bit more from the show tour sponsors, which we really appreciate. And then we look forward to catching up with you guys here. We have the whole YouTube playlist on the shop tour on YouTube. So make sure you guys check it out. We got Andy Mulder, Josh Sutton, Jeremy Knecht, so many other great people that you guys know and love. And it's been a really big hit for so many of you guys that eventually want to build your own shop as well, just like myself. So we'll button up right there, guys. Let's kick it back over to Marty, and we'll catch up with you guys here on the next one.
You know the name Equipment Defender. Now Experience the safety and security for your lawn care setup with Equipment Defender trailer racks. These lockable trailer racks are designed to keep your equipment organized and secure without breaking the bank. Upgrade your setup and protect your investment with trailer racks that fit any style of trailer, both utility or enclosed. These E-coated racks are built tough to withstand the elements, all while working hard to keep your equipment safe and secure. Put an end to unnecessary equipment damage and theft today by investing in quality trailer racks that you can rely on. Use the promo code BRYANS10 to save 10% on all orders today at equipmentdefender.com. And a link is provided in the show description. Equipment Defender.
It's just 3 words. But they tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach. Why there are over 10,000 local steel dealers in communities all across this nation. And why we're putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. 3 words you can kick dirt on, drag through the mud, but you can't cover up. Not everyone can say them, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
A majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally. Just one more thing, a quick reminder to subscribe to Brian's Lawn Maintenance on YouTube. That way you can see a tour of the shop where today's podcast was recorded, and that video is available for you right now.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.